Hello guys, welcome back. My name is Nathan and today I'm going to be starting a new series on the channel called NHL Let's Argue. The series where I discuss your guys' hot takes, your crazy opinions, and anything you guys end up sending in. I made a community post as well as a Twitter thread asking you guys what your hot takes were, and today I'm going to be answering a lot of them. Now, of course, big shout out to Anthony Fantano, the Needle Drop. He does this same thing and has done it for a while, but with music-related stuff. But today I wanted to take that idea and use it into hockey for this channel and for you guys too. And hey, with the Christmas season right around the corner, there's no better way to spend the holidays than arguing with each other, in my humble opinion. But without further ado, let's get right into it. Montreal will trade for the first to get Lafreniere. My buddies think I'm delusional, but I'm calling it. Now this one coming from Trevor Scholes, our first hot take of the episode, baby. And this one is a very interesting one in my opinion, because I think it does make more sense than some of the hot takes you'll see throughout the rest of the video. But Montreal trading for the first overall pick, or at least one of the best chances to get one. I wouldn't be too surprised by that. Montreal is hosting the 2020 draft, so they would have all the incentive in the world to get a guy like Alexis Lafreniere, a good old Quebec boy as well. I'm not sure if it's a hot take, but I think when it comes to Montreal, I don't think it's likely to happen, but if there's any team to really trade up for that first overall pick, I think it is the Montreal Canadiens. So you know what, I'm not even going to argue with that. That is a hard agree, a 10 out of 10, a perfectly amazing statement. There is nothing wrong with liking multiple teams. Now it's kind of weird that we're starting out a Let's Argue video with two statements that I 100% agree with, but my oh my, this is 100% agreeable in my opinion. Liking multiple teams should not be frowned upon. Now, to an extent, I suffer from this. I like Dallas. I mean, these are my 5 favorite teams. Just behold of my liking team ability. I'm pretty good at it, to be honest. Besides Chicago, they can frig off any time. But these 5 teams, let's go, baby. Brad Marchand is really just Sidney Crosby as a winger at this point. Now this coming from Sean, and I'm going to give the first argument here. I'm going to be the first one to disagree on this one, because I think to an extent, I think it is somewhat correct. Like, as the overall player, I think Marchand is a very good one. He's a great penalty killer defensively. He's one of the better wingers in the NHL. And obviously the offense does speak for itself. But we're talking about Sidney Crosby here, and I think that's a little bit of a high expectation for Marchand. I mean, I like Marchand quite a bit as a player when he's not licking people, but I don't know, it's a little bit of a stretch in my opinion. I think if there's anybody on this planet right now that is Crosby as a winger, it is Alexis Lafreniere, who, by the way, will be a future Montreal Canadien. Book it. Shea Weber was always better than PK Subban. Now, this is a one that I can agree with to a point, because I think there was years where Weber was better, but there was also years where PK Subban was 100% better as well. He won the Norris Trophy back in 2013 at age 23, where he got 38 points in 42 games. That was the lockout year, and that year, I think he was better than Shea Weber. But especially recently, Shea Weber has taken the crown once again, and I think deservedly so, now finally being healthy. But it doesn't really change the fact that his contract is still absolutely horrendous, and it goes until he's like 42 or something, and the cap restructure on that is insane. I mean, Shea Weber is better right now, but PK Subban has less term and less money, so he's just less of a risk. But as an overall player, Weber is definitely better now, and PK Subban is on the New Jersey Devils, and that's just sad. The Toronto Maple Leafs will miss the playoffs. Sad face. Now at this point, it's super hard to predict anything for Toronto right now. They sit at 5th in the Atlantic Division with a 17-14-4 record, but they've won 2 straight, and that Atlantic Division is just insane. I mean, if they won one more game, that they could be 2nd in the Atlantic, so it really is wide open at this point. But I don't really see Toronto missing, mostly because I see some teams going down, and I see Toronto being one of the ones that gets their crap together. And under Sheldon Keefe, he is the best coach of all time, obviously. And I just don't see it happening. I think there will be some guys that end up rebounding. Hopefully the defense actually plays like an NHL defense, and hopefully Morgan Rielly actually gets back to form. If that happens, I don't see them missing. But if they do, Alexis Lafreniere could look pretty good in blue. I'm just saying. Mattias Ekholm is one of the most underrated, yet top defensemen in the league on both ends of the ice. Now this is a take that I actually will agree with. Honestly, Cole, you hit it nail on the coffin. Top defenseman in the league in both ends of the ice. I do agree with that. Offensively, he's super underrated especially. He is very solid, especially even strength-wise. He's very good. And the defense is the best on Nashville. And one of the best in the NHL. As even if he was just a defenseman, didn't even do anything offensively, he still will be one of the better defensemen in the NHL. And add on top of that, his good point scoring ability. He's a great defenseman and honestly for Nashville does not get enough credit. I would rather have 10-minute 4v4 overtimes and bring back ties. Now this is one that I really heavily disagree with. I really like how the system is right now when it comes to 3v3 overtime for 5 minutes and then you go to a shootout, at least when it comes to the regular season. I like how it's different in the regular season and then it changes in the playoffs. The shootouts being the regular season, I think it makes sense and it's a fun change of pace, while as the playoffs are of course just overtime. But to me, if you change it to a 4v4 overtime format, I don't think that would be terrible, but I do still prefer 3-on-3. I think there's a lot of action there and if it goes to overtime, it's usually the best part of the game. But the part I heavily disagree with is the tie. I hate ties. If I paid like $100 to go to a hockey game, I better see a freaking winner. I don't care if it's the other team. I want there to be an actual verdict and not be a 2-2 tie. That is the lamest thing of all time. Not hot, but the trapezoid is horrible. Hot, Martin Brodeur is overrated. The Devils' defense made the numbers. Now, I definitely do agree with both of these statements. The trapezoid being bad, I do agree with that. But also the Martin Brodeur one, I have to agree 100%. I think Brodeur is a top 10, maybe top 5 goalie, but that in itself is stretching in my opinion. I think Dominik Hasek, Patrick Watt, I would take 1,000 times before Brodeur. And he had the privilege of playing under one of the best systems, one of the best defense cores we've ever seen in the NHL, and of course that does inflate his numbers. And at that time, a lot of the Vezina Trophy voting was on wins, and still is at this point because Andrei Vasilevsky somehow won the Vezina Trophy last year over Ben Bishop. And when Martin Brodeur won his back in the early 2000s, it had a Marty Turco who had one of the best seasons of the 2000s. That's what officially sealed it to me that he is overrated. And to me, I think if you like Brodeur, that's fine. But calling him the best goalie of all time, it's just kind of false in my opinion. The New York Rangers, the New Jersey Devils, and the Vancouver Canucks kind of screwed themselves out of an establishing powerhouse championship teams by rushing their rebuilds. They should have waited on the trades and free agents. Their core are enough to make them good, but not great. This is a take that I agree to an extent, especially when it comes to Vancouver and New Jersey. New York, I think, is a unique case because they have the cap space, and when you're going to acquire a guy like Artemi Panarin, who's still in his prime, I think you go for it, and it has worked for them so far, obviously. But in the situation in New Jersey and Vancouver, I do agree into that sense. Now, Vancouver didn't give up their future like New Jersey kind of did, but when it comes to Vancouver, signing Tyler Myers, Louis Eriksson, all this stupid stuff during their rebuild, I think has set them back a little bit. Right now it's starting to come a little bit better, but they still aren't at that point yet. But I don't know if the free agents really have anything to do with it, especially this year. But for a team like New Jersey, I think it could be that way because it was obvious they were going for it. But it wasn't just to be a great team for the sake of being a great team. It was just because Taylor Hall had his last year on his deal. They were trying to appease him, get him to stay in New Jersey long term, and we all know how that ended up. Wasn't really too successful for them. Sidney Crosby is barely a top 5 player in the National Hockey League anymore. Now, I already know this tweet is going to get so many people triggered, but I can see where he gets is coming from. Now, the thing is, it really all does depend on how you're evaluating things, because if you are evaluating on a whole career basis and also like defensive ability, then Sidney Crosby is your guy. But in like the last 5 years, I still think Connor McDavid is the best player on the planet, and there might be even better players than Sidney Crosby. And the thing is that Crosby was having a pretty fantastic season until he got injured. It really sucked, and then again, Malkin got healthy and it started to lead the Penguins. That's just how it be Crosby sometimes. But Crosby, I still think, is a top 5 player. I don't think he's number 1. He might not even be number 2. But to me, having him outside the top 5, I'm not sure about that quite yet. I think it'll take a couple of more years of not being the best for him to get to that point. But to me, I can see where you're coming from. It's, for me at least, it's not quite there, but I could see it happening if he starts declining. May not be unpopular, but the lottery system needs to be reworked. Too often we see teams missing the playoffs by only a couple of points and getting a top 3 pick. Season isn't even done, but I have a feeling we'll get the 4th overall pick. Better odds than getting picks 1 to 3 after all. Now, honestly, as a Red Wings fan, I can see where this is coming from because you guys got a 6th overall pick after 6th overall pick after 6th overall pick. You guys are probably going to end up with the 6th overall pick again. Don't at me. But the thing is that I think it is a reason why the lottery is so fun and so unpredictable, because these teams like the Flyers could end up getting the 2nd overall pick. Sometimes it can be that crazy. And as a Dallas Stars fan, it definitely helped us in 2017, so I'm not complaining whatsoever. But at the same time, I think there could be a little bit less unpredictability. Maybe you get better odds to the teams in front, but at the same time, a team that is in 12th place could end up getting the 3rd overall pick. That's a reason why I think the lottery is so fun to watch live and so fun, especially last year when I streamed it when the top 3 was going crazy. It's just a situation that I think could be tweaked, but I like how it is right now. The craziness, the unpredictability is why, frankly, it's one of my favorite events in the NHL every single year. Phillip Danault will become the next Patrice Bergeron. Now, considering that Phillip Danault is 26 years old and that Patrice Bergeron won his first Selke trophy at 26 years old, yeah, I gotta agree with this actually. 100% factual statement. Your dislike of the Blackhawks is an illusion and you secretly love them. Alright, that'll be where we end today's video. No, I do not like the Blackhawks. Don't you even think of it. Don't you even put that into the world. Don't you even dare. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell if you haven't already. And of course, the best way to let me know if you want more of this is to hit that like button and show your support for this video. Share this video with your friends. Let's get the hot takes out there, baby. Let's do this thing. My Santa hat just fell off, but it don't matter. Let's argue some more in the comments. Let me know your thoughts down below on all the tweets and all the hot takes. My name is Nathan, and I'll see y'all next video or stream. Goodbye.